All right, so looking at your worksheet on 45, 45, 90 triangles. Okay, and remember tomorrow you do have a quiz on Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to do that probably towards the end of class tomorrow. We'll see. All right, so first few here. Okay, find the lengths of the two sides. Okay, so remember 45, 45, 90 has two legs the same. Leg times the square root of 2 is hypotenuse length. Okay, so looking at letter or problem A or problem 1, letter A and B are your legs, and 8 is going to go in for our hypotenuse. So I'm going to put 8 here, and then I'll say A square root of 2. Okay, so the first step here is going to be to divide by the square root of 2. So we're going to divide by the square root of 2. Okay, and remember you cannot have a radical on the bottom, so we're going to finish out the math down here. So you're going to multiply by the royal 1, or the fancy 1, so the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. So the top becomes the 8 square root of 2, square root of 4. So that's 8 square root of 2 over 2. And then for your final answer, you will reduce 8 over 2, which is going to give you 4 square root of 2. Okay? So that's for A. And then since you know 45, 45, 90 has two legs the same, then B would also be 4 square root of 2. Make sure you have them both written down. Okay? All right, so for number 2 here, they gave us a leg. So we can go ahead and start by figuring out B is going to be the same thing. B is going to be 6 square root of 3. Okay? So now we're going to do leg times the square root of 2 is hypotenuse length. Okay? So the leg will be 6 radical 3 times the square root of 2, and that's going to equal A. So you multiply your radicals, and that's going to give me 6 square root of 6 is equal to A. There's no denominator with a radical. 6 can't break down, so A is done. So now you have A and B. All right, for number 3 over here, they gave us a leg again, so automatically we know A is going to equal 4 square root of 2, so we know that. All right, so then leg times the square root of 2 is hypotenuse length. So the leg here is going to be 4 square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is going to equal to B. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is going to be the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is just 2. So B should equal 8. So you've got A and you've got B. Okay. All right, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so for number 4, again, has two legs, so 45, 45, 90 has two legs the same, so you automatically know that B equals 2. And then this is a kind of easy one because leg times the square root of 2 is hypotenuse length. So our leg here is 2 times the square root of 2 equals A, and you're done. All right, so I'm going to look at number 5. So 45, 45, 90 has two legs the same. Leg times the square root of 2 is hypotenuse length. So we don't know our leg, but we know our hypotenuse is the 6 square root of 6. So we're going to go here, and we're still going to do the same steps. I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. Now this time, because they're both radicals, they can divide. 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3. So my A is just going to be 6 square root of 3. And then since it's a 45, 45, 90, B is also 6 square root of 3. And number 6 is the last one I'm going to do, okay, because you do have to rationalize here. So leg times the square root of 2 is hypotenuse length. So A times the square root of 2 is going to equal to the square root of 3. So we're going to divide both sides by the square root of 2. Okay, and we can't have that, so we are going to do the whole fancy one. All right, so that's going to be the square root of 3 okay? So on the top, that's just going to turn into the square root of 6, and the bottom turns into 2. Since they aren't both radicals, you cannot reduce there. So A is going to be the square root of 6 over 2, and then B is the same. Okay? So I've done 6 of your 10 problems. Don't forget, if you will write your 45, 45, 90 song 5 times, I will give you extra credit on your quiz tomorrow.